Well, welcome to the Christmas free Zoom meeting for scriptwriters and filmmakers. My name's Christine Whitlock. I'm the host tonight. So we'll get everybody to introduce themselves and let us know what you're working on right now. So Doug, you came in first. Tell us where you're from.
Well, I'm out in Oregon, a little town called Corvallis, where OSU is. I'm retired. I have been involved in filmmaking now since the 1960s, in and out. I've written some scripts that have made it to television. I've written some scripts that have been filmed. And I currently teach screenwriting. Now that I'm getting bored with being kept indoors, and I'm trying my best to put together a crew out here where I am so that I can go back to making some serious high quality short films in the 8 to 10 to 12 minute range, with the eventual goal of, which whether I can or not, I don't know. But the eventual goal is to actually produce something that is worthy of live action short Oscar. That's the goal. Whether we make it or not, I don't care.
Okay, Julian, you're next.
Oh, thank you. Hello. How's everybody doing? I'm from Iowa. I don't like to give too many specifics about where I'm from because I have to keep a little bit of a low profile. Sometimes my writing can be seen as controversial. So I did just finish placing as a quarterfinalist in the Screencraft 2020 Action and Adventure Contest. That's as far as I got. So happy for people that go to make it, and then just dedicating myself to getting better, just getting rid of all those little friction, things that cause you to lose, placements in a contest, those little snafus that catch the readers and catch the gatekeeper's attention. So just keep getting better and moving on. So nice to see you guys.
Great. Alex.
Hello all. Christine, do you mind if I actually introduce my guest instead? And I can go after her or later.
Sure.
Thank you. I've actually, long time ago, took a writing course with Jacob Kruger up in New York. And I recently attended a alumni thing, and I met one of his newer students, and we've kind of connected, and she's my protege right now. I'm giving her 2 months of my life to endow her with as much knowledge and help as I can do before I start my big writing internship with Mr. Lompassi. So I'd like to actually introduce Anisha from Texas so she can introduce herself, and I'll go right after.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Anisha, and I am pretty much new to screenwriting, and I'm learning as much as I can, and I have a great mentor in Alex. And I've been writing pretty much that's what I've been trying to work on, and hopefully I can come up with something to keep writing.
Great.
So I did not do what I was supposed to do the last meeting, Christine, my POC, because a grant came across my desk from Indie Flicks. Has anybody ever watched or seen that place? It's really cool. I really like it. But they also have a foundation. So I spent this last week writing a grant for one of the foundation monies that they award. So that's been what I've been doing. So, and then let me know, Christine, if I can ask my question that I emailed you.
Sure.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Okay, thank you. So I have written a dramedy which comes in at a very tight 85 pages. I had two producers that read it, and they both said that they could maybe move on it if I made a big choice. Either make it a strict dramatic script or a comedic script. So I've actually chosen to go with the comedy, but mainly because it's a big challenge. I'm not a comedic writer. So if any of you want to do a buddy swap and you're really, really good at comedy, or you can send me an email later saying, I'll send you my email. Oh my God, I used to be a stand-up comedy, writing comedy so easy for me. Then maybe I would, sit with you and actually pay you to help me with this script. So don't contact me unless you are really, really good at comedy, either writing or stand-up comedian, or you've acted in comedy. Okay, because I have a deadline to get it back to this producer. So I'm gonna put my email in there. If anybody is, or if you know somebody that I could connect to, that'd be even, that's option as well. So I'm just throwing it out there into the universe. If anybody wants to take a stab at improving my dramedy into a comedy. Thank you.
Great. Okay, Lori, you're next.
Okay. So my name's Lori. I live in Portland, Oregon, and so I'm a screenwriter and director, and I've done several other type of crew positions, like AD and PA. I'm co-writing a comedy right now with my film partner, and I just went to a webinar a few days ago, and Franco Sama, an executive producer, just offered everybody in the webinar three free half-hour consultations with him. And so that's a huge deal. So I'm trying to brush up on my pitches. So yeah, so I just finished doing a preliminary pitch for the comic. The one I'm writing with my screenwriting partner is a comedy. And the other one I'm writing is my feature. So I'm going to be pitching to him as soon as I can. That's where I'm at. So
Great. So Barbara, you got any exciting news about your thriller?
Hi everyone. Hi. So the thriller, no, I never got any sort of response from them for that. So it's all good. I'm a fairly new screenwriter. I wrote a drama / a little bit of a comedy in the summer, and I got some good news. It was included in 2 festivals, so I was very excited about that. Since then, I started writing a second, thank you. I started writing a second drama, and right now I'm just taking a little bit of a break for the holidays. So I'm excited to be here.
Great. Nick, you're next.
Hi, everybody. Happy holidays. Yeah. So I'm currently based out in SF Bay Area, California. I am currently working in digital marketing for tech companies. That's my full-time job. But I've worked on advertisements, video advertisements, which include the scripts and production. But I've always been passionate about screenwriting. So I'm trying to do as much as I could on the side and just network and work on scripts, learn about resources. I'm currently working on the action comedy, which I'm familiarizing myself from the Netflix Impact competition. The comedy is called Kashmir Confidential. It's about 2 cops who are in SoCal, Southern California, LA, that had to track down a drug lord in Kashmir, India. Ever since they found out that some Asian immigrants in Southern California have access to this life-threatening drug, like party drug overdose. And since, there's a lot of people who got it, these Asian Americans, they're trying to find out how they got it and who the main supplier is. So they have to go to, two partners have to go to India. They both are very opposing personalities. One's a goofball, one's actually Indian, the other one's non-Indian. He's just American, like white American. So just not having that cultural experience from India, he has to go to India, and just all these setbacks that happen and how they go through Kashmir. Kashmir is just, I don't know if you guys know, but just recently there's just been a very controversial city over the years, and they just had a lot of they opened up a lot of regulations just recently. So just a lot of things like that, hurdles. But yeah, I'm currently working on the script through Celtics. And I utilized Christine's script preparation, and working on the title, logline, characters, script, anything to get familiarized myself with the, and help better prepare me, and also familiarizing myself with the competition guidelines. So yeah,
Great.
thank you.
John Lewis,
Hey,
next.
hey everybody. John Lewis from New York City. Nice to be back. Happy holidays to everybody. What have I been working on? It's more like, what have I not been working on? I'm very motivated these days, as a lot of us are on this call. I did a pitch, I guess it was maybe about 3 weeks ago. It's a script I've been throwing around for a couple of years now. It's called Killing Roger. It's about the Life magazine team that covered the Kennedy assassination in Dallas in 1963. It's really kind of an unknown story. It's about the men and women of the press who covered the assassination, and it's a bit of a thriller, and it's kind of one of those feet hit the ground running stories. Because Life was the ones who found the Zapruder film, and they found the Oswald family, and they were the first to interview them. So it's really kind of an exciting story. And I pitched it to a lit manager who loved the pitch. He was all excited about the pitch, but passed on the project. So we move on, and I'm pitching another screenplay of mine called The End Around. It's about kind of a coming of age story. It's about a teenage girl in a high school who makes the high school football team and then turns the table on her former mob boss that she used to work with. So we'll be pitching that to somebody at Warner Brothers, Bobby Lucas at Warner Brothers in January. And I have you guys to thank for that connection. It's through Roadmaster Writers, and so I was able to hook up with her through that. So you guys, you turned me on to that platform. So thank you, and hope we get some good response. When I pitch that. So I'm working on that.
Great. Janet, you're next.
Yes, hi, I'm new to your group, and thank you, Alex, for inviting me. I'm new to screenwriting as well, working on my first screenplay, rewriting, going through several drafts, of course, and starting to outline a Christmas feature as well. My day job, I train dogs and walk dogs for a living, and I write for the Biscayne Times, which is a monthly Miami publication. And I just wanted to tell John Lewis, a few years back, I met the Secret Service agent who jumped on the back of the motorcade and really saved Jacqueline Kennedy's life by pushing her back in. But Clint, I can't think of his last name right now, but he and another Secret Service agent wrote a book about their experiences. And they were down in Miami at a bookstore, Books and Books, doing a talk. And that your screenplay sounds very exciting. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Janet's also a really, really good singer. Come on, Janet. Come on, tell them all.
Oh, well, I'm a songwriter. I'm not a singer. I'm not a performer, but I do write songs. It's true.
Great. So myself, I finished my 10th edit of my spec Hallmark Christmas mystery TV pilot. So tomorrow I'm going to be reading it all out loud to see if any errors pop up, and then I'll be making it into a PDF to send it to my script doctor. I already checked if he's accepting anything during the holidays, and he said he is, but of course I'm not going to get any feedback until the new year. And in the meantime, I've been ODing on all these Hallmark Christmas movies, and also doing research on how to write holiday movies, and I had bought a webinar on it, which came with an ebook, and she helped you rework your log line, which she gave me some idea on. So I'll be submitting the log line and the synopsis also to my script doctor. And then, of course, every time I watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, I put down who is the production company, but the credits go too fast. So I can't write down who the producers are because they say, you should contact the producers. But Inktip has a number of production companies who are interested in holiday movies. Oh, in fact, yesterday I got an email back from a producer on 2 of my scripts that I submitted through Inktip. One was a holiday movie, Crossing Guard Santa, that he requested the script. And the other was a romantic comedy, Pure Romance. So we'll see what happens with those 2. So the thing is, you got to keep out there, knocking on doors. And, every day when I go on to LinkedIn, I'm always trying to connect with producers or directors or filmmakers to find out, what everybody's working on. And the thing is that I spoke about last time is, and somebody else said, be polite, don't gouge them in your first introduction. Like I said, thanks for connecting. What are you working on? And if they ask me, what am I working on? Well, then I tell them. And, I've had requests for scripts, and some that I'm going to be following up in January, because of course, now's the holiday season. We have to kind of let it go for a few weeks while everybody is out shopping and family gathering where they can. Here in Canada, we're now in lockdown in my city, and as of Boxing Day, we're going to be totally in lockdown for the whole province for a month. So, so I'll be staying home and doing a lot of writing, and then I decided my next script that I'm going to be working on. I had already 40 pages written, and it's an action one. It's called Baptism Falls. It's located at Niagara Falls, and I had taken a lot of pictures. So now I'm categorizing all my pictures because I'll need to use them as a description for some of my upcoming scenes. And this is something that you have to do. I think a lot of research once you start writing a script. What else has been done at that location or action or whatever? What can you find on YouTube? It was very interesting. There was only one other YouTube comment. It was only about 3 minutes long. A gentleman talking about making holiday movies. But there's lots of free webinars out there. And if you do Google searches, all different kinds of, articles that you can check up on the type of script that you're working on. So Nick, you need to do that for action comedy, is, find out what is the top action comedies that have been produced, and can you get a hold of their script to see, who's in it and how they do it. Alex would know, because Alex and Barbara would know, because they sent a proposal through the last thriller proposal. Now, do they ask for similar movies?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it says two similar movies. Yeah,
So,
yeah, but it's a pretty general question. I think it wasn't very specific as from what I recall. Yeah.
And also remember, if you're applying, the competition is fierce. There's 3,400 people submitted in the last go round.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. Hopefully, it's the initial step. Yeah. Christina, I had a question. When you talked about LinkedIn, what did you say you would go on LinkedIn groups, or you would connect with people, like add them, or what is the best LinkedIn strategy in terms of connecting with people?
You just go to LinkedIn, and then on mine it says My Network, and it shows you all kinds of people that you may be suitable to connect with. But
Okay.
all I am now connecting with is producers, directors, and filmmakers, or somebody like in development, creative producer, because I have, well, now 9 scripts to sell, plus all my shorts and web series. So I'm not looking to connect with other screenwriters, because the problem is that a lot of them are asking me to partner with them, and that's not something I want to do. You had something to say, Alex?
Just wanted to add, I think it's great to network, but again, like Christine says, don't bug people because they're all busy. But a really good person to start with, and he's been awesome with me, and I think you in his group as well, Christine, is Jacob Stewart. This guy's a great pro, awesome. Just reading what he's done with his short film and his financing and his pitch deck is amazing. And he also has a service when you've kind of elevated your writing and you're kind of at that level. But look up Jacob Stewart on that website. Brilliant
Okay.
guy.
You mean on LinkedIn? LinkedIn? Okay.
He has
So
an
you could
agency
just
called Screenwriting Staffing, but
sure.
if you just connect to him, he sends out posts and he's really smart. And like I said, I've
Okay.
been very
Yeah.
impressed with the guy.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's always good.
What is he, Alex? A filmmaker, a producer? What does he do?
Filmmaker, producer. I had a nice chat with him because I was putting together my pitch deck, and he shared with me his, and he went through it with me. He'd made a short about a story about the crossing of immigrants, from Mexico into America, and from that short, he's now pitching producers and financiers to get money to make a full feature. But the guy's been around for a while, maybe not as long as you, Mr. Nelson, but he is very connected and he's just super smart. I mean, just having one conversation with him at like 3 a.m. because my niece is on the West Coast. And I just got a whole dearth of knowledge from him. And I now follow him on LinkedIn. There you go. Nick Hill's just put it in there. Just like I said, I think it's a great concept just to kind of listen to, read his stuff. When you've elevated your writing, I would suggest joining his premium membership, where I think it's $110 a year, and he sends all these blasts for what producers and execs are looking for, and then hopefully you're the right connection to them. A little similar to Inktip. I've had great connections with screenwriting staffing in my first few months, because again, it's just, the ad will come out looking for a war movie about blah, 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 blah. And if that's what your script is, then you connect with these people. So I said, I would only do that if your writing is kind of elevated. You never want to cross a bridge with an exec or a producer by sending a script you've been working on for 2 months and it's only a third draft. You need it to be up there. I talked to Anisha about this and somebody else today. You got to get those scripts vetted. Once you know they're at a certain level, then you can send them out to people. Never burn your bridge, okay? And save you money as well.
You can also check out screenwriting staffing before paying the money. You can get their daily newsletter, because I get 2 or 3 a day leads. Like I got one about horror writing that I'm keeping because I'm working on a horror script too. So like I said, check out what kind of leads that they have, and then if you think that they're worth it, some of them, you can go back almost a year that they would have in their archives that you can submit to, or put it in a document saying that as soon as your script is ready, these are the people that you're going to be connecting to. And the same with Inktip. You can ask for their newsletter, but you can look at it, but you can't apply to any of the producers unless you pay for their service to get access to the producers. But like I said, I just had a producer ask for 2 of my scripts yesterday. So, it does work out, and I did get a paying job through Inktip, a writing job.
Nice.
So, Fatima, you want to introduce yourself and tell us what's happening?
Yes, hi everyone. This is Fatima. Happy holidays. I just found out a couple of days ago that I have some experience for making like theater with puppets. I had this experience when I was like a student in college with high school students in school. So I forget all about that. And I just remember when one of my friends told me, I told her that I am participating in a meeting that everyone is very professional and they have a lot of experience, but not me. And she said, you have some little experience if you remember. And I said, oh yeah, my God. I have some experience I wrote the script, and also I was director, and also I made the puppets for the show. Yeah.
Did you film it?
Unfortunately, no.
Do you still have the puppets and the script?
I left it in my country, not here. Yeah.
But you could probably, rewrite it and make the puppets again, right?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So that's something for you to think about, that, you've already got the script and the characters, and it would be quite easy to film.
Yeah,
especially, you don't have to worry about location and COVID problems, all that kind of stuff with actors, because you've got the puppets.
Yeah, great. Yeah, sounds great. I will think about it and I will try it.
So good. So what's everybody's 2021 goals are going to be in writing or filmmaking? Well, Doug, you're gearing up, and you also said that you want to
putting
teach.
a crew together and see if we can't get some things done. We've got a couple of scripts already lined up. I have a couple of scripts already lined up that have strong character arcs and strong themes and stuff like that I'm always looking for. I just don't have anybody to shoot. I was going to say, John, you're talking about a thing that goes back to the Kennedy assassination era.
Yes, that's right.
There's a guy in Hollywood. He lives out on Hollywood Drive, I think, in Malibu, right above the ocean there. His name is Tom Sawyer. He was the showrunner and the writer for Murder, She Wrote, and did the Father Dowling series and those kinds of things. He's a big aficionado of the Kennedy assassination era, and he has written a couple of books about that. He might be a guy to talk to.
Oh.
His name is Tom Sawyer. And if you ever run across him he gives a lot of these lectures at screenwriting festivals or film festivals and stuff like that, where they always have these little, I used to do writers' retreats there, and I would invite him. And, look for him. He's had, like I say, he lives down in Malibu.
All right.
Last time I talked to him, his neighborhood was on fire and he was living with his daughter, but
Yeah.
He's back to where he was.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine that lives in Malibu, and her house burned to the ground. But she sued the governor of California, and she's going to get a lot of money.
Yeah.
But now, Doug, are you looking for staff? Now, you're in Oregon, right?
I'm in Oregon. I'm looking for a crew. And
Okay, because I know a guy in Seattle. It's kind of close to where you're at. It's probably a couple hour drive, but he's a really talented, a DP and writer. He's good with a camera, and maybe I should hook you guys up. You guys can talk.
If he's
and
in
see
Seattle, he's kind of out of my
Okay.
sphere up there.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm looking mostly for young kids out of the university
I see.
or that era, because I want to help them get some knowledge and experience of the film industry,
Right.
to allow them to look at this as a potential career option. And I'm finding that a lot of these people who want to be writers or who want to be DPs or want to be directors really haven't a clue what the industry is about. The
Yeah.
real hard and fast industry. And they're living with some sort of in a fantasy world like what Hollywood was back in the days of the contract world, where stars were royalty and all that kind of stuff. It's just not there anymore. I think with the recent influx of the digital filmmaking, since we don't have to shoot hundreds and hundreds of feet or pounds of film anymore to make a movie. Anybody can make a movie. Very few people can make a movie worthwhile. And that's always the hardest part, is to find the people who really have the dedication, the drive, the skill, and the intent to keep at it and make it good. And, there are a lot of hobbyists out there. Any kid with a cell phone is a filmmaker. But there are very few out there that are basically any good. There are very few. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for 2 people to fill the role of director. I'm looking for 2 people to fill the role of a DP. And I'm looking for 2 people to become editors. What I'm looking for is younger people who want to look at these as careers. Because with those 6 people, I have enough people on a set to film a short, because everybody is going to have to learn what everybody else does. But I want to concentrate on working with directors. I want to concentrate on working with DPs. And I want to concentrate on working with editors. And I also concentrate on working with writers. And I teach the screenwriting concept. And there are very few people that even have a clue about how to write a screenplay.
So, Julian, what's your goals for the new year?
My goals, I got quite a few. I have a lot of a long backlog of scripts that I wrote during a time where I didn't really understand how to get good feedback or where to get feedback or even what to do with them once I wrote them. So, and I've matured a lot since then. So I'm going back and upgrading. Like my quarterfinalist was a script I wrote 20 years ago. But I've significantly changed it and upgraded it and gotten a lot of reviews at Talentville, the website Alex and I are talking about in chat forums. So, I go back and fix up old stuff. For the future, I have my comedy script, which is an homage to the Marx Brothers, to finish. I have the 3rd act to go. So I got 2 acts down. I'm getting kind of gearing up, trying to get funny to get this 3rd act going. And I just made a joke about Alex not thinking I'm funny because I showed him the first 40 pages and he said he laughed once. And I'm like, well, okay, comedy is a little simple, perhaps. But so I can't help Alex on this comedy because he doesn't think I'm funny. That's all right. Hopefully somebody will. But I'm really trying to give it that spirit of the Marx Brothers in there. And I actually directed one play of the Marx Brothers called Animal Crackers, that their second movie is based on. So I have a deep love for them. And then I'm also just kind of doing some world building for a science fiction story. I'm preparing, I'm kind of creating my universe, you know, my history, and you know, government. I'm doing querying agents for my novel. I have a novel that's literary fiction. It's called Junie Q and the Secrecy of Desire. And it's kind of a journey, not the destination type of story. And um, I've been offered a publishing contract, but it's by a very small startup company called Lost Boys Press. And they said, you know what, we want to publish you, but you really got to get out there and get an agent that might be able to, you know, do better by the book than we can. So they're just admitting that they're kind of small and starting out, but I think they're a pretty talented group. So look up Lost Boys Press. Ashley Hutchinson, she edited my novel, and so I told her, well, I think by the time you guys are ready to publish me, I'll probably be like, yes, thank you, please, God. But you know, so I'm just still trying to get an agent. Otherwise, maybe appreciate it as much as they do. So,
Julian, you made me laugh just now.
yeah, see, I am funny, by God.
So Alex, you've got something going on in the new year, right? With some project?
Yeah, yes, I'm going to be working with Mr. Giovanni Lompasi. If anybody wants to look him up on IMDb, he's done a lot of things, probably more famous for Veronica Mars and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm going to be on his writing development team, producing proof of concept films. So I've only met him once. The other
You put the name on the
producer,
chat. It's hard to spell. It's hard to.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I just put his IMDb thing there. Give me 2 seconds. So I'd actually responded to an ad at Stage 32, and I'm not a big fan of Stage 32, I'll be honest with you. But I responded to an ad, and is it Barbara? I think we've been chatting. Sometimes it takes people a long time to get back. 4 months later, he had his assistant contact me, and I nearly fell out of my chair when I read the email from him. Yeah, I'm excited to start. I've met him just the once, and it's a really, really good opportunity. I'm hoping COVID can be managed and gotten rid of, because I would like actually to go out there and spend some time, because once we go into production, just like Mr. Nelson has said, that we're putting a crew together, and the writers will have an opportunity to be on set. And if it's our project, then we can actually elevate into maybe being a producer or a director on it as well. So it's a really cool opportunity. I'm really, really excited for it. And I think I may have mentioned in the past, I'm also working with another A-list director on a educational icebreaker project that hopefully takes off the ground, because some of my writers from the writers group will be getting their first short films made in that project. So we've submitted for 3 grants. One of them was the last one I just did, which was Indie Flicks. And Julian, they actually show a lot of the Marx Brothers movies on there. They have like a running channel of classics. So I've actually watched a few. So hopefully that at least one of the 3 or 4 grants we've submitted to does, come to fruition, so that we can do that project. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea, everybody, how you can define success. Sometimes it's not getting your feature film made into an amazing movie and it gets released in the movie theaters, right? I've done a couple of shorts, done a documentary, done some animations, but I'll be honest with you, if this is the only thing I ever get done, this would be my proudest moment, because we want to film educational icebreakers. So it would be a short 6-minute limited location, limited actors scene about a story connected to health. So it could be about COVID, it could be about sexual abuse, it could be about sex trafficking, it could be about HIV. We're gonna just do the set, right? So it's just Laurie and myself are the only actors in the set. Cut, it's a wrap. Laurie and I leave, and we bring in 2 other actors who speak Haitian Creole. We film the same thing again in a different language. Cut, it's a wrap. They're out to bring in 2 actors that strictly speak Spanish. So even though we're making 1 movie in a set of a series, we're hoping to make 6. It's actually 6 times 3 that we're going to educate. We're going to create educational lesson plans for teachers to use and put them out on a great website for any educator in the world to use them to introduce these sensitive topics to the target audience, which would be teenagers. So if that's the last thing I ever do in my life, that would be the proudest thing I ever get done. So it's not always about getting the movie made. It's about doing, cool projects that mean a lot to you.
Alex, you raise a question or an issue there. And that is, you want to be the writer and go and be on the set, right?
Maybe.
Okay. Let me tell you something about most sets. They don't let the writers on the sets. And there's a reason for that. And that is that the writers have an idea about how they want to present their film. But it's the director's job to bring forth the cinematic view.
Totally agree with you.
And so the director doesn't want to be in conflict with the writer. It creates problems.
Yeah,
It's
totally
like,
agree.
the DP. The director doesn't want to tell the DP what camera to use and what lens to use and what stops to use and lighting. That's the DP's job. And the same thing with the editors. Now, the director knows how to shoot a film so that the editor has a place to cut, or the editor can put pieces together. But that editor is going to be, he's just as creative as the director, the writer, and the DP. And basically all 4 of those creative types of people have to function as one, have to function as a team to get this film out. And if you ever forget that, you're dead in water.
No, actually, with my project with David Frankel, we're the executive producers. Once we choose a director, we step back. It's now their project as the director. The thing with Giovanni is, as a writer, what I was saying was, let's say we end up doing my project and I was the writer on the project. I have a chance to also go on set and act as like a producer or director. That's a different capacity, not as the writer. But yes, do agree with everything you just said, Mr. Nelson. It becomes a different project once it leaves you as a writer. You got to let it go. You're the writer. That's it. It's not yours anymore. Someone else is taking over.
Yeah, the whole concept here is to write a script, get it in as good condition as it can be, and sell it. And when you sell it, somebody buys it. They own it. You don't own it anymore. It's like selling a car. I can't tell you what kind of tires to put on my old car once I sell it to you. I can't tell you whether you should paint it a different color or what you do. It's your car. Well, it's the same thing with the script. The title to your script goes to the purchaser. Period. End of discussion. Now, they may be willing to bring you on to do a polish or a rewrite or whatever, which is often possible. I know I've been hired and fired on the same movie time and time and time again. As you're brought in to do the rewrites, then they don't like what you've written, so they throw you out, bring somebody else in. They don't like what he's doing. They just said, maybe this other guy knew what he was doing after all. And that's the way it works. A writer in Hollywood is hired and fired 2 or 3 times on the same film. It's just the way it works. And it's not your project anymore. Keep that in mind. It's not your baby.
Lori, so you told us about some things that you're working on. Anything else new for 2021?
So let's see. I'm just wrapping up my feature right now, and after that, I'm working on a redemption story that's gonna be a limited budget one. So I know another executive producer wants me to submit 2 features to him, and he's gonna bring it to his team, but he wants it to be a redemption story and have it under 85 pages. So, and I want to save him money, so I'm trying to do one where it's only like 1 or 2 locations and 2 to 3 characters. So that will be my challenge after this. Yeah.
Good.
And character driven.
Sounds like it's designed for television rather than the big screen.
If he wants to do it that way, that's fine too. Yeah.
Barbara, what other plans have you got for 2021?
I mean, I'm gonna keep writing. I'm gonna keep looking for a producer for my film. That's kind of my main area of focus, to be honest. I'm kind of seeing that taking off in 2021, moving into 2022. So that's pretty much it for now. And then the rest is whatever comes up, comes up.
So that's the thriller script?
This is my drama comedy script.
Oh,
My baby, my main one.
and second your thriller? You did a
Yes,
thriller?
that was another one. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So Anisha, so you're going to be working with Alex. Are you working on your first script then?
Yeah, so I've written some stuff. I'm just going back and editing a lot of it. It's just constantly rewriting, typing again, cutting. So that's what I've been doing. And hopefully I can have something to submit to maybe some fellowships in next year.
Oh, good. So, Nick, you're putting all of your focus on this action comedy right now.
Yeah.
Because
So
the deadline is what, January 3rd?
yeah. I mean, we'll see how much I can do. You know, I'm just I'm gonna So just work on that until January 3rd, and just familiarize myself with the competition and see if I qualify. But besides that, in 2021, I want to continue working on the romantic comedy, the Lula Weds Muna, that I was already working on in the beginning. It's about 30 pages right now, but if I can expand that throughout 2021, like the first quarter of 2021 until March, April, develop more content, work on rewrites, and maybe the first 3-4 months also work on. I have 2 documentaries in mind that I'm interested in. One is about Steve Irwin. I feel like the Crocodile Hunter. I don't know if there actually was a documentary or a movie about him or anything. I just feel like he was such an integral part. Like, even I knew him and I was like 10 years old, and so I feel like I want to see if I can work around something like that. I feel like there can be really good content with that, especially. And the other one is, I think we talked about it during the horror screenwriting groups in October, about my Milk Carton Diaries that was set in the 1990s. People who were on the milk carton, so kind of develop that. So I think the first 3-4 months is just getting some content ready, the scene breakdowns, characters, kind of start those projects. Also, look into more resources like Inktip and screenwriter staffing, get familiarizing myself, LinkedIn groups, read more scripts. Again, I feel like those are always helpful, especially related, like documentaries, just getting the format down for documentaries, and just more books. I feel like even if you're a pro, like there's always things you could learn more, YouTube videos, utilize all the resources. So yeah, it's been really helpful being in these. I know when I first started, I was just, I seemed very novice. I feel like in 3 months I did grow, and, I got one script down, even though there's a whole process, but I'm really thankful to have this opportunity. Hopefully 2020, I know it's been a crappy year. I'm in SF Bay Area. California has been, very impacted by the virus. So, hopefully 2021 is a better year in the entertainment industry, and there's a lot more opportunities. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, thanks. Thanks, Christine, for organizing this. It's been amazing. Yeah. So.
And don't forget to reread books, because
Reread, yeah.
because in your screenwriting journey, you learn things at the beginning, and
Yeah.
then when you reread the books, sometime later, things become more clear.
Yeah.
Once
I have
you
a
read it
Kindle.
again.
I have a Kindle, and that's been useful because I could download them and I don't have to, I could bookmark the pages. They're always going to be there. So that's always been useful. And most of these screenwriting books are on Kindles. Yeah. So yeah, and I also, what I do is I write down notes on everything that we're talking about, like the main points, and I have literally like 15 pages of notes from all of the meetings, and I actually highlight stuff like things that I didn't know, like, just little things like books that you guys mentioned, LinkedIn groups, any things that I felt like, were not highlighted on the emails. So, and that's been pretty useful. It's always something that I can refer back to,
Great.
So yeah, thanks. Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
So, John, what else are you going to be working on in the new year?
I'm actually thinking of starting a writing teaching service, so to speak, because I do more than, I'm in many genres. I'm a playwright. I write short stories. I've been doing this a long time, and it might be a good time to kind of branch out and take that on, as a teacher, because I think I do pretty well with it. So that's something I'm thinking about. I want to get back to Doug for a second. Doug, I just made contact with Tom Sawyer. I just sent him an email, so hopefully he gets back to me. But I have a question, I guess, to the group too. It's about options. I know that most options last about a year, and then whoever buys the script, an option owns it, you have that time to develop it and try to get it in the can, and then it's open up to the next buyer if someone's interested. So is that kind of the normal time frame for options? I'm asking this because I have another script about the first woman who ran the Boston Marathon in 1967. Her name was Catherine Switzer. And I have really good contacts with Catherine. I have an email on her, and I know people that know her. And she's aware of me and my script. But just before I made contact with her, and I'm going back about a year and a half now, she had just optioned her book to another production company. And now everything's been going on with COVID. No one's been filming in the last 9 or 10 months. And I've reached out to her, and she didn't get back to me. And I kind of figured, well, why is she not getting back to me? And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm the competition now. She's already optioned her story. So again, what's my time frame here? Should I try to reach out to her again and see where her option is on her book, or how do you think I should handle it?
I would reach out to her and see, the option and the length of it, and if it's being renewed.
Typically, options back in the 70s and the 80s, when Hollywood was buying everything that we could write, options used to run 6 months to a year. And during that time, you were not allowed to market your product to other sources. And during that time, they were required to honestly attempt to make the film, pull together the actors, the financing, everything they needed. Often they did not. And so the script returned to you, but you kept the money from the option, and they typically ran 6 months or so. A few of them would run as much as a year, but generally not. And it used to be, I know I've had a script that was optioned for a 6-month period at a time, I think 3 times in a row. So, selling these options was kind of a little cottage industry back in those days. when we had serious writers and, the market wasn't so flooded with them. So that, I don't know what the market is like for that today. I think that today's market moves probably much quicker than that, that you are not going to get any money for an option. You'll get these $1 options. And I don't think anybody's doing the loan options anymore. At least nobody I know of that's doing them.
Yeah, and I think that her book was optioned, and then I'm sure whoever the production company who's bought it is trying to hire a writer to write a script. I even reached out to them, and this is about 1.5 years ago. I reached out to them going, maybe we can partner on the script, and they never got back to me. But I'm not necessarily, and maybe it's not my realm to ask, but my script was not based on her book. It was, I used her book as source material, but it's completely different. My script in telling the story of her running, the marathon in 1967. But so I guess there's a lot of things to decipher and figure out when it comes to the option. But yeah, I certainly have nothing to lose by reaching out and trying to make contact with her again and see where it all stands. So
That's right.
Yeah.
I know I had a company approach me for my children's TV pilot. They wanted to option it for $1. But when I said that I wanted my entertainment lawyer to look at the contract, I never heard from them again.
Mm.
So that was interesting.
That's normal.
Yeah, I bet.
So Janet, what kind of projects you hope to work on in the new year?
Well, I'd like to get some scripts under my belt. I'd like to finish my feature length and at least begin the second one. I do a lot of reading. I've built up a little library of screenwriting books. I just got the screenwriter Bible the other day. And I do a lot of webinars. When you mentioned a Christmas, like a Hallmark Christmas webinar that you did, Christine, something like that. I just did one just the other day. And that's a whole new universe for me.
Where do you do the webinars? Where?
Well, it was through Stage 32.
Stage 32. Okay.
But the fellow James Crawford used to sell scripts to Hallmark, and he seemed very knowledgeable to me, and it just opened up a whole new world of writing. It's very different from other types of feature writing. So keep learning and get some finished product under my belt. That's my goal. And as a songwriter, I'd like to incorporate my songs in my films. So that's a big goal of mine.
And what genre of scripts?
Right? Feature length.
No, but genre.
Yeah, my first feature length is a drama, like a genre blend of drama and horror, and the second one is Christmas, like geared towards the Hallmark market.
Great.
Why are you writing feature length films?
Just that interests me, and I'm not against writing short films. I just haven't done it, but the feature length appeals to me.
Well, writing a good quality, high quality, top-notch short film is probably the most difficult format to work in, because you have a limited amount of time to compact your story. And I like to look at scripts that are usually no more than 15 to 20 pages, generally 8 to 10 pages. And you really have to be good at that because you have to introduce your character, set up your crisis or your issue to begin with, build a character arc, come to a conclusion, and all within this very limited amount of time. And it's really difficult to do well. And if you can do that, writing feature-length films is simple. You can wander all over the place with your story in a feature-length film. It's like writing a short story versus a novel. It's the same conflict. As a novelist, you get 200 or 300 pages to run around wherever you want. If you paint yourself into a corner, well, you can just change the corner around, paint yourself out. In a short film, you can't do that. You have to be good. You have to be damn good. And that's the learning curve. And what I like to do is give students a concept, a theme, some idea to work with. Let me give you one. Okay, a single parent comes home from work one afternoon and discovers that her daughter is not there. The daughter has been killed in a high school shooting. This story has to do with how the parent gets beyond the grief. How does a character get beyond grief or get beyond a past trauma? And that's your theme or your arc. And that's where you really have to get to it. I'm working on one right now where I have two characters. And both of them are dead. They're stuck in limbo. One wants to go back to his happy life. One abandoned that a tragic life and suicide. The two of them now must go forward. As long as they're stuck in the past, they can't move out of limbo. So, when you write a short like that, you develop a character and you develop a character arc, and that's what will sell your work more than anything else in the world.
Thank you.
Fatima, when we last talked last month, you were working, I think, with a director on a script. Were you not?
No, I said last time you're somehow right, but I didn't work with her yet after I finished my feature length. Yeah.
And what genre is that again?
It's drama.
Oh, it's a drama. Oh, good.
Yeah. I asked her to participate in our meetings, and she said for next year she will be participating. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yes, invite her.
Yeah.
So next year, as I was saying, to market my Hallmark Christmas mystery, so that'll be in January. And then working on this action script at Niagara Falls. And then I've got 30 pages I had written for a teen comedy called Pig Out, about 3 girls that wake up during a sleepover looking like pigs, and they have to get back to normal for the prom at the end of the week, plus other things that they're doing. So I want to get back to that one. And then I have 2 horror scripts with one's in an elevator and one's in a cabin. So limited locations. So and sometimes you get kind of stalemated with it, that you can't move forward. You have to think, how can I move forward? How should I, work out what's going on? Because I know how it ends, but I need to put in some more scenes in between, some more conflict, some more drama, some more horror, whatever. because, people want action. They just don't want talking heads all the time. And unfortunately, Pauline isn't well tonight, so she wasn't able to tell us how her script is coming along that she had got notes on. But hopefully she'll be better next month. So yes, next year I have renewed these meetings for the first and third Monday of the month. Again, 7 to 9, Eastern Standard Time. So, post that in your new calendar to come out, and we'll keep encouraging each other, because that's the whole thing, like we learn from each other, and Doug is such a wealth of knowledge with all his experience, that he guides us and tells us about different books, and we learn from each other. And Alex is always coming up with new things, and I think the sharing is very important, to find out what works and what doesn't. Like John's asking about optioning, what works and what doesn't. And again, John, Google options, what's happening right now, so you can get up to the minute what people are saying and doing about options. And
Christine, your horror film, you're saying, is confined to an elevator?
Yes.
Okay, there's a film out there. It was an indie film made a few years back called Devil, The Devil or Devil. And the whole thing takes place in an elevator, the entire film. It was an interesting take on it. It had some interesting character arcs to it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
If it weren't dark here in the studio, I could show it to you. I have a copy of it somewhere down here.
And that was that full length?
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, good.
It's all filmed supposedly through the elevator becomes stuck in the shaft, and you have the guards up above who are looking down at the camera in the elevator, and all the action is taking place in there. And I think it's called The Devil or The Devil.
Yeah, like
how many people did they get in this elevator?
Pardon?
I was just asking how many people did they got in the elevator?
I think they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think they have 4, maybe 5 people in the elevator.
See, mine only has 1.
Yeah.
But there's another person involved.
So obviously it was shot on a set. It wasn't actually shot in an elevator.
Yeah. And then of course, as creative people, we're always getting, new ideas from all around us, and they're even asking now for COVID stories in limited locations, because in the future people want to know everybody's experience in the COVID and how you worked on it. For my regular writers group Friday night, they asked for a 500-piece short story about what happened during the COVID that you could tell your grandchildren. Well, I came up with a short story, a horror one, about buying some new appliances, because I can't travel. So my husband and I decided to buy some new appliances for the kitchen, and how it turned into a horrific experience. So I've been sending that out to various publications. So we'll see what happens.
There's a good, I watched the show on Hulu called Love in the Time of Corona. Yeah, that one's pretty good. But maybe the script is online, but yeah, it's a rom-com. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. It was just 5, 6, it was miniseries, but yeah, if you want to watch something COVID related, it's a pretty lighthearted,
And Doug was saying about producing short films. I put one of my early animation films on Sophie.tv. So, you know, there is outlets for short films, and supposedly you're gonna make some money on it. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Did you hear about that, Doug, about Sophie.tv?
Heard about it. I don't know anything about it.
It's out of Switzerland.
Yeah. This is the film that I was talking about. It's called, let me get the lights on here so I can see what I'm doing in the studio. It's called Devil. It's a psycho supernatural chiller.
So just the one word, devil?
That's just it.
And what year did it come out?
I don't recall what year it came out. It's a couple of years old. An indie film.
Does it say on the back of the DVD cover?
Let's see.
You have to put your light on it. to see.
I know, you're screwing up my whole system here. This one, the nice thing about it is the ones I always look for. This one has the special features. So it has the deleted scenes and all, the other stuff, the director's cut and all that kind of stuff. And without my glasses on and a shiny light, I can't tell you what year it came out. But that's it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Well, there was
It's an interesting little film.
just like there was some famous, I think he's English actor who did most of his acting in a telephone booth.
Uh-huh.
So again, almost one location. And I think there's been some just in a car.
Mhm.
So any kind of
Contained like that, yeah.
anything like that. But the thing is,
You find a few of them that are contained, but usually in a car or something like that, it's talking heads. There was some stuff in Tarantino's film, was it Pulp Fiction, the two guys in the car talking about what the French call McDonald's, whatever that was. It was beautifully done, it was beautifully set, but it was just a scene. It wasn't the film.
right. Well, Alex has to go, so happy holidays, Alex. And great success in 2021 for all of us.
Yeah, thank you. For those of you who are American, Christine had mentioned about Boxing Day. It's the day after Christmas Day. Christmas is usually church and family time, and then on Boxing Day is when you exchange gifts, hence the word box, boxes. So that's what that is. So those of you who are like, what the hell is she talking about? I'm just giving you a little history lesson. So,
I didn't realize that was Canadian.
it's English.
Oh, English?
Yes,
English
yes.
Commonwealth. Like, the Canadians used to be part of the English
yeah.
Commonwealth. But I know some people are like, Boxing Day. So there you go.
And I think they celebrated in Australia and New Zealand as well.
Yeah, all
right?
the Commonwealth places.
Yeah.
Exactly. So not America,
So it's turkey on Christmas and gift giving on Boxing Day.
Yep.
Oh,
Church somewhere in between. He's supposed to. Supposed to.
and
Hey
Christmas
guys,
Eve.
happy holidays. I have
Yes.
a meeting and I've got
Happy
to
holidays.
grab something to eat for my next meeting. So gotta go.
Happy holidays, and we'll join you in
Janet,
your
I did
diet.
not recognize you with that hat on, Janet. It's like, yeah,
Nice star hat.
I don't recognize you with that hat on. So Janet's a new friend of mine.
Well, I thought that was a real
Christine-
background for Janet, but it's virtual.
No, it's you put a photo in the background, but I'm not sure how to get it off now. So you're kind of stuck with the sunflowers. Although it's
Well,
Christmas.
you just go down to your studio and do it that way. You don't have to worry about background.
Bye, everybody.
We can put up a green screen and I can be out
Bye.
before.
Nick, you were saying something?
Oh, when is the next session then?
So it's Monday, January the 5th.
Monday, January. Okay.
By
January-
the way,
The
by
5th
the way,
and the
Dave-
19th. Pardon me?
sorry.
Wait, those are
Wait,
Tuesdays.
the bill is for 2010. You asked for the year. The bill, the
For the devil,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2010.
Janet, where are you located again? In Florida, you said?
Sorry,
Yeah.
no, it's not the 4th. Sorry, the 4th and the 18th.
Yeah, I'm in Miami. Who's that, John?
Okay. Yes, yes. Great.
You said
And
it's,
Christine,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying that, I mean, just to confirm, you said it's kind of in 2021, it'll be on Mondays at 7 p.m., right? Eastern
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then every 2 weeks, right? Okay. So it'll be the same. All right.
Not every 2 weeks, the 1st and the 3rd, because you have to
Oh,
watch,
first and
because like March has 5 Mondays.
oh, okay, okay. So the 1st and the 3rd. Okay.
First and
Great.
third. Because we had that problem with November.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was 5 Mondays, so we had a 3-week break, not 2 weeks for the meeting on the 7th.
Yeah.
I miss our meeting after 3 weeks.
Someone said January 5th and the 19th are Tuesdays, so they put
No,
that in
it's-
the chat.
No, it's 4th and the 18th, sorry. I
Oh,
was
the
looking-
4th and the 18th? Okay.
Yeah. But now that I have your email, you'll get the notice on the Friday before the Monday,
Sounds good.
so you can schedule it.
Thank you.
So Christine, I got to run as well, but
Okay.
I want to thank you again for this, and everyone enjoy their holidays, and we'll see you in
Yes.
January.
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Yeah,
Also,
happy
keep healthy,
holidays.
right? We all have to keep healthy too. Like I said, we're in lockdown in my city, and the whole province is going in lockdown because everything's so bad here that they're having great concern about the hospitals being overwhelmed.
Where are you
Yeah,
in
we have
Canada?
that going on all over down here too. I'm not crawling out of under my rock until after I've been infected, disinfected, and injected and everything else, and the governor says it's okay. But yeah, we're in the same thing here.
Well,
Where are you in Canada, Christine?
I'm between Toronto and Niagara Falls. It's called Hamilton.
Oh, okay. I know where that is.
You go over this big bridge, and then you can see our 3 bodies of water, Lake Ontario, Burlington Bay, and Cootes Paradise. I made 2 feature films about 2 of the bodies of water. My first one, Sharp Teeth, was about a monster mutant carp in Cootes Paradise that eats all the fish and starts eating people when it escapes into the marina in the bay. And then the sequel was Marina Monster, about a teenage bull shark that grows up in the bay and eats all the fish and starts eating people, some of them buffet style.
What's the audience been for stuff like that?
Well, my first 3 movies they got on Netflix through my first distributor. Well, I'm still selling the DVDs on Amazon and eBay. I had to send it to Australia the other day, and I thought the postage was going to be really high, but I couldn't believe it was half the price that I paid to send it to Germany for my one before that. So I don't know if If they do
You know,
more.
this always brings up a question in my mind because I'm old-fashioned and I come from the old days of film. Is there any real market to this online stuff? I mean, can you actually earn a buck at this kind of stuff? I mean, it seems to me like this is just a kind of a hobby, a waste of time. I don't know. I mean, can you make $1 at this kind of stuff online?
Well, there are people that have Instagram, that are social media influencers. They have, their own Instagram account, and they can, through selling products and I don't know how else, but they make, 6-figure, 7-figure salaries. It's beyond me how to do all that. But a lot of these young people are doing it.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is it really economically viable? I'm looking at the way the film industry is going, and it's pretty evident to me that the old dinosaur is wobbling around down there in Hollywood. So I think that, because of the high cost of production and the cost of films and the number of union-based bodies you have to have on the set, it just can't work. I mean, it won't work. It's going to eat itself. So what this means is that there's going to be a market out there for the independent filmmaker, because, watching films, watching stories is just a human thing, and it's not going to go away. It's just going to be dealt with in a little different aspect.
Yeah, it looks different. Same thing with the music industry. When people stop buying records, stop buying albums or CDs, you just have to reinvent yourself. But that opens up opportunities for people that aren't really big artists either. So,
I think
I see that in the film industry. People who are coming into it have little to no knowledge, interest, or talent. And yet there are always a few who just pop right up to the top and look really terrific. And I think that that's kind of the way this whole indie film thing is going to go. In the 60s and 70s, we had what we called the coffee house films, the art house films, that kind of stuff. It was very popular in those days when we were all running around like playing bongos and tight pants and, and that kind of stuff. But that kind of got replaced by the movie houses, and the old contracts that the film companies had with their ownership of the studios, and their contracts with the actors and stuff like that. It was a very closed society, but it was a well-oiled society. So as more and more people became involved with it, because they all wanted to jump on that bandwagon, they just overloaded it to the point that now it's just going to lumber along off into oblivion. But that means that something else has to come along to replace it. And that's where I have a lot of confidence in the indie film industry.
So Julian, you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say that's why I run a television show called the Indie Film Showcase. And, because I like to show and present and promote good quality, independent, short films, because this is where your television audience is going to see what is coming next. It does more than just build an audience for the filmmaker. It teaches the television audience what's next on the line and where the real creativity is coming from. And that's what I keep hoping and looking for, is that we have a lot of short films that are Oscar quality short films. There aren't many of them out there.
So Julian, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just, I'm looking at the industry too and trying to figure out what's going on. And, what I see is that a lot of Netflix, projects have obviously been directly profitable for filmmakers who get hired and get their work sold to Netflix and stuff. But Netflix has been spending heavily in deficit for years and years in search of expanding their subscriber base. And they had this kind of plan to just constantly keep going into debt, but grow subscribers, and one day it'll balance out. So they have been throwing lots of money at stuff, but the same thing is that other companies now are like, oh yeah, we're going to go for that same pile. So right now you're seeing an expansion of subscribers as every kind of major chain is trying to get all those customers scooped up and often stealing them from cable and back into themselves as well. So the question is, can they get enough subscribers before the crash? Is Netflix going to have a severe crash one day where they won't be able to keep throwing endless billions of dollars at developing all these projects? Now, they're going to accumulate a certain mass library from the past, but then people have gotten used to places like Netflix being disposable. We're not watching last year's Netflix movie. It's what's on Netflix this weekend. So how long that business model can sustain itself without hitting a crash someday where people are going to start expecting a profit, that's a interesting question to ponder. Like, could it be that if they eventually get everyone on the planet to subscribe to Netflix, that they'll finally be profitable? Maybe, but also Disney Plus. And then the question is, how many subscriptions can you handle? I have a bunch of streaming services. I have Netflix, Hulu, I have Criterion, I have HBO, I have ESPN Plus. I got Disney going on as well, and Amazon.
How much are you spending per month to have all that stuff?
Getting close to 100 a month. Plus, I have YouTube TV, so my bill is getting to be pretty similar to what anybody was paying on cable. But I also have more variety and choice, and I'm happier this way at least. But I'm hitting my limit. A CBS All Access, no way. I'm not. There's just some stuff where when I hit my limit, I'm going to start, anyway, I'm going to watch it one way or another. That's what I'm saying. But, I have a certain budget that, I'm not going to subscribe to Showtime. I saw some, the new show with John C. Reilly, Tim Heidecker, and Fred Armisen is on Showtime, Moonbase 8, and it's kind of funny, but it's not worth subscribing to Showtime for, and so a lot of these guys are going to crash and burn as well. And so we're going to get, and then someone might figure out, let's just bundle it up like a cable package, like ESPN, Hulu Plus, and Disney have done, where you can get all three for a lower rate, which I need to do because it's subscribed to all three.
We were talking about this earlier on this evening. I was talking about in the 70s and the early 80s. The big studios would option up everything they could get their hands on. And we had a nice little cottage market going on.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other people discovered hey, this screenwriting thing, this is a nice routine, right? So all at once we are overloaded with screenwriters who don't know what they're doing, and it just all crashes on us. So this is a cycle that I expected we're going to see over and over and over. And it's been a cycle that has gone on since talkies were first invented. So I think it's going to go on. And I think it all is going to bode well for the indie film market.
I think they're getting a little bit of an artificial boost because the pandemic has necessitated staying at home and streaming. And so they've increased their numbers, like Disney has expanded hugely during this time. But at the same time, the new stimulus bill they just released has $15 billion to keep theaters afloat. So the question is, if you can keep the theaters open, once people are ready to go back into a crowded building again, which, I'm crossing my fingers. I can't wait to get back into a movie theater and not be afraid anymore. So when that day happens, if they can keep those doors open, then we will, I think, see the return of, theatrical as kind of a proven moneymaker. It's like the streaming is in flux, but I'd say that once they get back to their models and people don't have fear anymore, the 2020s are going to be like the 1920s. People are going to be going crazy to go out and have entertainment and fun and stuff. So I think theatrical will bounce back and become a bit more of a force in the future. Streaming might run into some bumps, I think, down the road. Like you said, that kind of crash might happen with streaming, but then perhaps a renaissance for theatrical type movies.
I think Disney started their own streaming so that they could keep all their own money, because they probably weren't making that much money for their films on these other, streaming platforms. So why not keep it all themselves? So I don't know, is there any Disney movies outside of the Disney streaming? I don't know, because I don't, watch.
Well, I think if you buy it on Amazon, you could buy it on Amazon or Google Play, right? Yeah, but you have to like pay. It's not like a Netflix, but you would have to pay for it like individually. But that's the only thing I think of. Yeah, I think they got off a lot of the Disney movies on Netflix. So yeah, that was their primary competitor, right? So.
And you're going to see new technology happen. We really don't know. 10 years ago, we wouldn't have thought streaming, we wouldn't be talking about it then. But we're going to see new things like Quibi. They tried that for about a year, right? But that failed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money on
Also
it.
globally, there's going to be a huge, Disney Plus, they bought this Indian film streaming service called Hotstar, and they're actually accounted for 30% of Disney's 86 million subscriber base, like as of December. So they increased like 30%. Yeah. So like there's going to be a lot of global expansion. I know Amazon Prime is expanding a lot in India and partnering with Bollywood. And so it's going to be, I could see how things are going to be changed in that direction, like in a global market. Yeah.
And podcasts all of a sudden, are exploding. So, there's new possibilities out there.
I tried to get my 3 films onto Amazon Prime, but they wanted closed captioning for all of the films, and that was at least $1,000 per film.
Oh my.
And they couldn't give me, any kind of numbers about what kind of money I'd be making. So, to put out all that money and, making pennies a month isn't good.
How many little Santa hats do you have there? I thought you had like little devil hiding your horns or something there.
Yeah, there are 3 little Santa hats.
Yeah, 3 of them there. That's pretty cute.
Because I have some books as ebooks, and like I only get like pennies because they always keep trying to, to make it only have it for very low price. And by the time they take all their cuts, you make next to nothing money on your books, on ebooks. I guess it's quantity that you need, and lots of promotion.
For sure.
So I found I guess like an agent manager on LinkedIn who deals with film sales, distribution. So as Alex was saying, it takes so long before they come around and see or answer your email. So she doesn't have time to look at my films till after the holiday season before she can decide whether she'll take on my films, because I said that they're family friendly. There's no blood, guts, gore, nudity, or swearing. There's a lot of struggling and screaming, but nobody's ever come back to me and said there's no blood in your vampire movie. So that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of biting going on, but there's no blood. Because of course they drink now.
Promoting films in here. There's my kids' film called Leaves of Grass. You might find that an interesting little thing. I think it just went to DVD. I don't know that it may have gotten some theatrical release. I'm not sure. but he had a good time making it.
Is that a redo of the Natalie Wood movie?
Not that I know of.
No, that's Splendor in the Grass. Sorry.
No, this is Leaves of Grass. This is a comedy, and it's got Ed. What's his name? I'll turn my light on. Sorry. It features Susan Sarandon, Richard Dreyfuss, Kerry Russell, Ed Norton. That's pretty good talent in it. So I think you'd find it interesting. It's a cute comedy. And I think it has to do with marijuana back in, like through the South. And so it probably was a little risque for theatrical release down in there in those days.
So Shadow has presence with us now. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing? You have to unmute yourself. Unmute. Can't hear you. No, still can't hear you. You got to make it louder.
Now, can you hear this?
Yes?
Yep. Can
Yeah,
hear
we
that.
can hear you now.
It's these earphones. So just let me put you on. Now I can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, so yeah, I'm busy running around. So I was very late. So I know you guys are almost done probably, but I just had to log in and say hi.
So what are you working on?
Oh, well, we shot our first day on the Eartha Kitt film last week. We were shooting on 8K. So we only shot one day on that. It's a feature film, but we shot one day to preserve tax status, basically, as tax laws are changing here end of the year. So it grandfathers the project into even though the tax laws are changing, we're still treated under the old tax rules. So that was important. But we shot on 8K, and it forced me to make some casting decisions, and which we weren't prepared to do with actually, but we went ahead and we found the right person, and it was pretty good. I've seen the footage, but I haven't started editing because I have to upgrade my editing system, and that won't happen until next week. So 8K is a bit of a problem. So we were going to shoot 12K, but we went down to 8, and yeah. So
Any chance that I could ever get a hold of some of the raw footage that you got just to look at it in 8K on my system?
As soon as I can see them, as soon as I can see it, which won't be till next week, but absolutely, yeah. Looks really good. Yeah, it looks really good, but we were prepared and to light it properly, and used a very interesting lens. We used like a 70-year-old lens. And
Hey, don't pick on us 70-year-old lenses.
They don't what? I didn't catch that from you.
I say some of us are over 70 years old, so don't be picking on us.
Yeah, well, no, it's a really lovely Zeiss lens, or not Zeiss. I can't remember the name of it, but we looked at it in prep and just decided to go with that. So we essentially used one lens for the whole day, except we had to go wider shot at one point. So we went with a wider lens for just one set. But apart from that, we used this one lens. It's beautiful. And, people don't really know that lenses were more or less perfected, before World War II or at the same time. And there's just not much, they just don't get much better. So in fact, sometimes they get a little worse. But
yeah, I have a whole dresser drawer full of old Nikon glass.
Yeah. But it was a good experience. We went to 8K mostly for workflow on the day because we had a hard out and we couldn't spend a lot of time, transferring footage at the end of the day. So we did that throughout the day. And but I think 8K is good enough. 4K is good enough. But we're not doing principal photography until probably September. So, we want to protect for whatever might happen down the road. So we went with that.
So is that going to be your main project for 2021, or are you doing something else?
It'll probably be the biggest project. We're launching Facet TV in January. And we technically started launching it, but we had delays and stuff in content being delivered. And now I've got some content coming in. So mid towards the third week of January, we'll have some content for download. The first episode is Sin 13, which is a series that we shot. We actually shot last February, the first episode. We premiered it in July here at a private thing and in a live stream. And then we've got a show called Esco Eats that's out of Atlanta. We just got the first episode of that in. So we should have 2 or 3 more by middle of January, so we can start streaming that. And a few other things. So that's a big, project. The ongoing Sin 13 is an ongoing series. I've got a couple more I want to do, but the film is it's probably the biggest project I've ever done. So keep my fingers crossed. There's a lot of moving parts in that whole project to get it going. So
content has always been the hardest thing for me. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 shows in the can and lined up and ready to go, but I can't get content for filming. They just don't want anybody to see their work.
This is the problem that everybody thinks that they're going to make $1 million if they have their own streaming platform, and then they all have the same issue because there isn't enough content on the planet to satisfy demand, and you can't have the same content as everybody else because everybody else has it. And then there's the people that don't want it, like you said, don't want to show it, or for some reason they're holding it, or so that's a problem. So we're doing, our platform is originals only, original series based only. We do have some features coming in, but it has to be original, and we have to have exclusive for a period of time. And we're also creating a distribution arm so that part of that would be the ability to negotiate it and get it on other platforms as well to maximize exposure and income and whatnot. But the problem is, where's the money, right? Because most of these platforms are paying fractions of pennies per stream, and a producer can't produce a second episode on that. And so we're doing pay per download. We're not doing subscriptions to the whole platform. You can subscribe to a series, and so you can get a big discount on the per series downloads by doing that, but you don't subscribe to the whole platform. And because it has to be sustainable for a producer. And so we're trying to create, we're going back to the future a little bit, to the early TV model with sponsors and advertisers and whatnot. And, that's all in the works. It's not up and running that way yet. But, we have to solve that. And so you'll see on Stage 32, I'm trying to put together a forum for new streaming platforms and people that are in the digital distribution kind of industry that is up and coming, the independent part of that industry, and to meet and do an open forum amongst us to talk about some of the issues we have that are different from mainstream, and they're very different from mainstream, and particularly seeing if we can come up with best practices for licensing and then monetization practices and stuff like that. And the other thing that's coming down the road is licensing. And I've talked to a few people, and the fear is that within maybe 2 to 3 years, somebody in Congress is going to pass a law that you have to actually have a license, like a broadcast TV license or whatnot. And those are going to be very, very expensive. And that's just a barrier to entry that mainstream is pushing right now to keep independents out of the space. So if we can get together and get groups together and whatnot prior to that, then we can deal with that, or even grandfather ourselves in, or we'll see how that goes. So there's a lot of issues, but mostly, what I want to do is produce content. But You know,
You
so it's
have
going to
pretty
be an
much the
exciting
same
year.
problem I have, and that's lack of content.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to do it on stage 32. I'm going to invite filmmakers out of stage 32 to submit their films for showing on my cable network show.
right.
We'll see how it goes.
Cool. Well, I mean, we may be able to send some content to you as well. You know, so let's talk later about that.
Yeah, would appreciate it.
For sure. But that's what I'm doing. It's going to be a very busy year, and hopefully, you know, whether COVID changes or doesn't change, you know, we're coming to grips with production during that, and you know, it's happening. So, I mean, mainstream is going great guns right now because they got the money to do it. So, you know, and we're exempt. The industry is exempt from COVID guidelines as far as the lockdowns are concerned. So I don't know if you knew that, but specifically exempted by the governor's order. So there you go.
That's in your state.
That's in California, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Where are you?
I'm in Oregon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's in California. And we premiered in July with Sin 13, I was able to structure, because we were doing a live stream of the event, I was able to structure it, legally speaking, as a news event, which was specifically exempted as an essential service. So in California, if you can live stream anything, essentially, you're an essential service. So you can stream and produce and all that stuff anyway. So, but you know, given the percentage of the economy here that is related to entertainment, they pretty much have to exempt us because it would cripple the state. You know, if we can't get our stuff going as an industry, you know. So makes sense to me, but.
Well, Shadow, let's stay in touch. You know.
Yes.
I'm about out of wine, so I got to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, talk to you guys later.
All right. I have to
Any
get
closing
going
remarks, Doug? Because we got to.
Closing remarks? Sure. I'm out of wine.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah,
Keep
maybe.
well.
We'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes.
Yes.
Talk to you guys later.
Good.
And Shadow, I
See you
do want
later.
some of that footage. I just, you know, even if it's only 30 seconds, I just want to play with the 8K footage in my old ancient computer.
For sure. Well, I mean, I couldn't, mine isn't that ancient and it won't even play it. So I have to
Yeah.
upgrade the system. I had to upgrade my
Yeah.
GPU. So I'm waiting for that, and that won't arrive till after Christmas.
Yeah,
So-
that's the kind of stuff I want to figure out what I'll have to do.
But it runs the very latest of everything, my system, but it won't play, it won't even look at those files until I upgrade it. So if you don't have a beefy, you know, video card, it may be an issue. So
Yeah, well, I'm looking at replacing the computer and doing all that kind of stuff anyway. So,
Oh, good.
okay,
All right,
dinner
I
time
have
here.
to,
Talk to you guys later.
I have to go too, but
Okay.
I'm
Happy
assuming
holidays,
it's,
Nick.
I think it's ending pretty much soon. Are you guys covering anything
I'm
important?
out of
or-
here. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Happy
Have a
Have a
holidays.
great holidays.
All right. Happy
Keep
holidays.
thinking, keep creating.
Yeah. I'll
We'll see you in the
on
new
the
year.
See you on the 4th. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Monday,
Thank you.
the 4th at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays. Keep
Thank you,
well.
Happy
Christine.
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Thank you, Christine.
You're
Thanks for
welcome.
everything.
Bye-bye.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
glad I got in.